What's up YouTube? Brute Force 750 2011. It's getting cold here in Montana, and finally installing a winch and putting a plow so I can plow my pretty long driveway. And I didn't find any kind of, I had some trouble finding a place for some components. Scouring the internet, I couldn't find what anybody else had done, so I figured make a video if it does help somebody else out. And first thing with this relay that I installed, I'm not completely happy with this setup, but it works. So I put it where the toolkit would normally go, down in there, and I'm gonna have to find another place for the toolkit, but I'm gonna put probably a metal kind of bracket across here, screw some holes into this relay to make sure it doesn't bounce around while I'm getting crazy on some trails, and that should keep it nice and secure. The main thing I had a problem with was finding a place for that fuse, and so this is where I ended up installing it. This is a single wide junction box. I just got it at Home Depot, and then I also got some U-bolts, and basically just mounted it to this black bar that you see there. And make sure, this is like a ABS sort of PVC plastic. Make sure you get plastic or else it could short out. Put electrical tape all the way around it, and then I put some adhesive foam tape, but like pipe foam tape that you'd find in freezing climates, and that kind of act like a sort of like a buffer to keep it from bouncing around on the inside, damaging itself or something. So now it's got like a padded insulation around it, or a padding, so it doesn't get messed up. Put some blue thread lock on these bolts so they should stay nice and secure. The top plate here, what I did was, these metal things are part of the U-bolts. I screwed a hole through these in the place of where the this top plate would mount to this J-box. And so it's also important that these things don't slide off, and then leaving this to flop all over the place. So not only the J-box is attached now to the U-bolts, and the U-bolts are attached to that black bar, so this thing is nice and secure. It's not going to go anywhere. There's some breakout tabs on this J-box, and they're offset, so they just lined up perfectly with how these wires came out. I think I drilled a hole for this one, and that one was a breakout tab. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Just in case you're curious about any other points on the Brute Force install, if you can see these two clear male-female plugs here, this is what connects to the 12-volt cigarette lighter thing here, 12-volt DC outlet. So what I did was, this is the plug that came with the 6-foot adapter for the Superwinch. So I screwed that there, and then this is my my setup here for where I installed that. I don't think I'll ever end up using that extension just for a plow, but it's there. And so that requires a 12-volt ignition source, and so that's where I tapped into it right there. I got a heat shrink wrap around it. Probably put some electrical tape around that and call it good. I got my mounting plate from Cabela's, and the winch plate didn't fit up completely perfect to the mounting plate from Cabela's. So 2 of the holes lined up, but 2 of them there was no holes nearby, so basically I just drilled some new holes and mounted it to that plate. So it ended up working out just fine. And also to note, if you do end up doing this, the wires were not long enough. Basically I had to go to auto parts store and got some 8-gauge wire and soldered on, or you can also crimp on, or I think lots of NAPA, Napa Auto Parts, they will solder the connections for you. I work around brazing and soldering, so I just did it myself. So the wire that came with the kit did not work, so I ended up having to do my own to get it to reach around, because it was about 2 inches too short to mount that with that U-bolt like I wanted to. And then other than that, everything else fit right up and it works just fine. So as it starts getting cold here, it's starting to snow in the mornings here in Montana, so I'll probably be purchasing that plow now, and should be nice and good. So thanks for watching. Any questions, feel free to post them, and I'll get back to you if I can help.